What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. And today we are talking about Song Yadong and why I believe he's the dark horse of the bantamweight division. I will also be previewing his matchup this Saturday against Gutierrez and his bright future in the bantamweight division. First, let's break down his fighting style. Song Yadong is a very fun striker to watch with a boxing-heavy approach, but once he gets his hands going and starts setting up some feints, he really does mix up some kicks to the head, body, and legs, which is a very great weapon for him. He is very fantastic takedown defense and is very good at separating from the clinch after he stuffs the takedowns, and if he does get taken down, he is very quick and great scrambles back up to his feet. On the feet, he is also very quick and powerful and has a very solid chin. He does get hit, but he rolls with the punches pretty well, and it is very hard to catch him with a clean shot, and if you do, it's going to be very hard to knock him out because he has a very, very solid chin. He has very good cardio, as we have seen him go 5 rounds with Ricky Simón at a very high pace, and he was on pace for 5 with Corey Sandhagen in a very impressive performance where he ended up losing in round 4 because Corey Sandhagen was able to slice open his face, and the fight was stopped due to a doctor stoppage, unfortunately, because there was a massive cut opened up on his eye. In the Sandhagen fight, he proved that he was one of the best strikers in the entire bantamweight division. He showed a whole new side to his game that was very technical, and he did show that there was a method to the madness. He showed very good counters off the back foot and really did set up some of his power shots while mixing in some kicks to the body, head, and legs. He kept range pretty well, did get tagged, but really was never caught all that clean. And eventually he did lose, but it was because Corey Sandhagen did open up a massive cut on the top of his eyebrow with a very nice lead elbow. If that cut doesn't open, that would be a much more intriguing fight, and I could see Song Yadong potentially coming out on top. In a rematch, that would be a very interesting fight, but I don't want to take away from Corey Sandhagen because that was a very crafty elbow to the face, and I really do like that lead elbow, and I really wish that more rangy strikers would go to that because it is a fantastic weapon, and it worked perfectly for Corey Sandhagen in that fight. All credit to Corey Sandhagen, but I'm just saying, in a rematch where Song Yadong does not cut his eye, I could really see him winning that matchup. In an official prediction in a rematch, I don't know where I would go because Song Yadong will be improving his striking rapidly. He is super young. I believe he's 25 or 26 years of age. And Corey Sandhagen is coming off a loss. Excuse me, he just beat Rob Font, but he's coming off an injury where he will not be improving, potentially having some ring rust, and potentially not even being 100%. Another thing that's worth mentioning in a potential rematch with Corey Sandhagen is that Song Yadong had a lot of success with Ricky Simón in rounds 4 and 5, and that's because he was constantly setting up his power shots. Against Corey Sandhagen is very dangerous and very unorthodox early, so it will be very hard for Song Yadong to make adjustments, whereas the fight goes later, Corey Sandhagen's weird stance switches, his weird switch knee, and then his lead elbows, I think it might be a little bit easier for Song Yadong to make a read on, and then he could potentially find some more power shots and improve as the fight goes later. Because he has shown a very technical side to his game in the Corey Sandhagen fight and the Ricky Simón fight. And we saw Corey Sandhagen have more success on the feet against Song Yadong once he split open the eye of Song Yadong, and Song Yadong's vision definitely was impaired. If the rematch were to happen as Corey Sandhagen's immediate return fight, I probably would lean towards Song Yadong, but I would want to rewatch their fight a couple more times just to make sure I have a very confident read on that fight. Super interesting prediction, but I don't think that will be the case because it seems like the UFC wants to book Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov next for UFC Saudi Arabia. Now let's talk about how he matches up with the grapplers of the bantamweight division, which is Merab Dvalishvili, Aljamain Sterling, and Henry Cejudo. Let's start out with Henry Cejudo, which I would pick him by KO. I think he'll stuff all the takedowns from Henry Cejudo, and if he gets taken down, he'll scramble back up to the feet because Cejudo's really not been great at ragdolling someone or holding them down for 5 rounds. And when this fight is on the feet, Song Yadong is super dangerous. He has the power advantage, and he's overall more technical of a striker. I would pick him by KO, probably the 2nd or 3rd round. And moving on to Merab Dvalishvili, I would pick him by decision. Merab is extremely durable. He has very solid chin recovery. I think Song would probably hurt him. If it does stay in the clinch, I think Song Yadong will be able to really outdamage Merab. I don't think Merab will be able to keep it in the clinch. If he shoots takedowns, Song Yadong will stuff the takedowns and separate immediately. Merab might shoot back in. But the thing about Song Yadong is he will do damage in the clinch. And as they separate from the clinch, he is very good at really throwing a hook over the top, landing a hook, landing an elbow on the exit. He's very clean with that work, so I would pick him by decision because I trust Merab's chin. And although Merab can just do what he did to Jose Aldo to decision, which I would hate, I do trust Song Yadong as a guy that's really going to do everything he can to separate from that clinch and make sure to weather the storm of all the other takedowns from Merab, and I don't think Merab is going to be able to hold him down. As I mentioned multiple times, he has very good scrambles back up to the feet, and when it's on the feet, he will hurt Merab, outstrike him, potentially keep it at range, set up a couple of his power shots. He's got a very good uppercut. He's also very good at showing the knee, which will make Merab a little bit hesitant of shooting in on takedowns. but I think he'll be able to hurt Merab and overall just do more damage than Merab, because it seems recently that the judges are going a little bit more towards damage than controlled time, and Merab is going to really not benefit from that. So let's move on to the other grappler, which is Aljamain Sterling. This is very interesting to me. because Aljamain Sterling can fail takedowns and then find the back. But Aljamain Sterling just got knocked out by Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley has shown that he doesn't have the greatest chin, and these really good power punchers at the bantamweight division can knock out Aljamain Sterling. And I think Song Yadong does it. I think he'll be able to stuff the takedowns immediately, separate immediately. He won't really entertain the clinch at all, and he's going to knock out Aljamain Sterling pretty early, similarly to how Sean O'Malley did. Sean O'Malley does have range, what makes it very hard, but I have always said Aljamain Sterling doesn't have the cleanest takedown entries, and that's going to be a problem against Song Yadong. Now, what I could see being a big problem is Song Yadong, whenever someone really sets up a takedown, they can feint a takedown, and then he goes for a full sprawl, and then from there I could see Aljamain Sterling finding the back of Song Yadong, which does really worry me. And Song Yadong's jiu-jitsu is a little bit untested, if I'm being entirely honest, but I trust his takedown defense enough, and just his overall explosiveness, his overall athleticism, to keep it on the feet. And when it's on the feet, he will knock out Aljamain Sterling. And even if Aljamain Sterling shoots in, that knee is there, and he will find a strike on the way, or while Aljamain Sterling is shooting in on a takedown. Now let's talk about how he matches up with some of the other bantamweights in the division. Starting out with Marlon Vera, I would pick him against Marlon Vera. He actually won their first fight, but it was a very questionable decision. A lot of people thought Marlon Vera should have got the nod. Nevertheless, it was a very close fight, and they have both improved a lot since then. And right now, I think Song Yadong is the better striker, and Marlon Vera is probably going to have to find the KO here because Song Yadong is very technical, and he also has a very high output. It's going to be hard to outpoint Song Yadong for 3 rounds and even 5 rounds. I think Marlon Vera needs to look for the KO, and if he does hurt Song Yadong, who is a very solid chin, I don't know if he's putting him out really badly, and if that's the case, I think Song Yadong could find the takedowns on Marlon Vera even if he is rocked. So I'd go Song Yadong pretty confidently there. I don't think he'll find the KO because Marlon Vera has such a solid chin, but in a 3-rounder and a 5-rounder, I'm picking Song Yadong both there pretty confidently. Moving on to the next fighter, which is Petr Yan. In 5 rounds, I go with Petr Yan, and in 3 rounds, I go with Song Yadong. Petr Yan, as we all know, really does take some time to warm up, and it's his early rounds that he does struggle with the most. I think Song Yadong will be able to start pretty fast there and win at least 2 of the first 3 rounds in a 3-rounder, and then in a 5-rounder, he might slow down his pace a little bit, and Petr Yan in rounds 3, 4, and 5 will really be dangerous. And what I like from Petr Yan here is he has good kicks to the body and good kicks to the legs as well. He has a boxing-heavy style, but Petr Yan's different weapons will probably create problems for Song Yadong. I'm not saying that Corey Sandhagen didn't have diverse weapons. The thing about Corey Sandhagen is he did have a very boxing-heavy approach and didn't really mix up the kicks to the body, which I do see being a problem for Song Yadong. And Petr Yan has really been in there with some of the best strikers in the entire division. He's in his prime right now. He's going to be improving rapidly. On the feet in a 5-rounder, I would pick Yan over Sean O'Malley. But in 3 rounds in the fight at UFC 280, I think Sean O'Malley outstruck him. Petr Yan had to resort to some grappling. With that being said, I still think Yan is the better striker. In 5 rounds, it's really going to be hard for anyone to beat him. Yan also has a very solid chin, so it would be very hard for Song Yadong to find the knockout. It's possible because Petr Yan has been hurt before by Sean O'Malley. But I just can't rely on that, and I think in a 5-round technical decision, Petr Yan does have a deep enough bag to probably pull it out in a close decision. I'd probably go 3 rounds to 2, Petr Yan ever so slight lean in 5 rounds, and in 3 rounds, I'd probably say Song Yadong 55% chance to win that fight. And now let's move on to Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley. I would take Sean O'Malley in this matchup. I think there are some unknowns about Sean O'Malley, which is why the Marlon Vera fight is something I'm very hyped for, because we will likely get a lot of answers. I trust Marlon Vera's chin to hold up against Sean O'Malley. I don't think he's getting knocked out, and I think we'll probably see either a technical fight or an absolute scrap, an insane war. If anyone's getting finished, I think it's probably going to be Sean O'Malley, if I'm being entirely honest. I could see Sean O'Malley finding a very big shot at Marlon Vera and him just having that level of power that can knock out these guys with good chins. But overall, I think Marlon Vera will probably make it to a decision, and we'll see probably the most volume of Sean O'Malley we've seen thus far. We'll see him in 5 rounds. We'll really see how good his cardio is and how technical he looks in a fight where he's fighting another power puncher that can put his lights out. Not that Petr Yan couldn't. I'm just saying Marlon Vera really is super dangerous as well, and I think we'll get some technical answers to Sean O'Malley. But until then, Sean O'Malley's rangy. He's got a lot of power. He's very quick. So is Song Yadong, but it's going to be hard for Song Yadong to close the range on basically a more powerful Corey Sandhagen. I know they have different striking styles. I completely understand that. But when it comes to frame-wise, they're very, very similar. But now add on a lot of power to Corey Sandhagen with the boxing-heavy style. And that's kind of Sean O'Malley. I would lean towards Sean O'Malley. I think you'd probably get it done by decision. But I could see Song Yadong mixing in some wrestling in this matchup. But as of now, I got to go with Sean O'Malley until some holes in his game are exposed. Now let's break down his matchup with Chris Gutierrez taking place this Saturday. I'm taking Song very confidently. He's the better striker. He's much more dangerous. He's the better wrestler. If he wants to take this fight down to the ground, he can easily do that, in my opinion. We saw Pedro Munoz take down Chris Gutierrez and hold him down pretty easily. I think on the feet, Song Yadong is clearly more dangerous. He's clearly more technical. The only interesting part about this matchup is that Chris Gutierrez is a very good leg kicker, and it will potentially show us how Song Yadong could potentially match up with Jonathan Martinez down the line in the future. I think Song Yadong will be able to check a majority of the kicks. We've seen him check some kicks against Ricky Simón and some other fighters in the past. Now, maybe it exposes a hole, but even then, if his calf really does get chewed up, he could probably take this fight down to the feet, or excuse me, down to the ground, dominate him there, or if it's on the feet, he'll knock out Chris Gutierrez. Probably rounds 1 or 2 is what I'm going to pick. We saw Chris Gutierrez recently fight Alateng Lee, who has a similar style to Song Yadong, but Alateng Lee is just a much worse version of Song Yadong. Song Yadong is much quicker, more powerful, much better chin, and the thing about Alateng Lee is his game plan wasn't that good. He would go back up Mr. Chris Gutierrez, and once the fight was up against the cage, he'd throw one punch and then back off. Song Yadong's going to throw a couple combinations, so he's going to be setting up his power shots. He's going to find a hook. He's good off the back foot, much better off the back foot than frickin' Alateng Lee, the plotty man. I think Alateng Lee, his game plan was horrible, and even Alateng Lee was able to take down Chris Gutierrez a couple of times. I really do believe in Song Yadong in this matchup. He's a massive favorite, but he is kind of warranting that, seeing his past performances. I'm not super intrigued in the main event. I'm going to be cheering for Song Yadong because he's my boy. But all bias aside, I really do believe in him, and I think he will succeed a lot at the bantamweight division. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.